It's Monday. It's time to look at the trends from Week 9. We're going to look at what the running backs did on the field with the next-gen stats charts and just look at where the ball is flowing, the targets, the workload, and everything else. We're going to backtrack this a bit and then project forward. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going deep on the waiver wire. Tomorrow we go uber deep, covering all the wide receivers and running backs. We continue on Wednesday on the waiver wire. We're doing deep dives on all the trending players so you can get the advanced stats and how they trend in their offenses. We're also using these videos to help you set your lineups. Click that button right there. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint him. We're starting off with King. We're starting off with Kyren. He is going to volume into fantasy production, and if we cross the goal line, then it's going to be a huge day. If he doesn't cross the goal line, it's not going to be a huge day. That's where we're at right now with Kyren. Thankfully, we score a lot of touchdowns, so we're good in fantasy football. The yards per carry in some games are just up and down, and some games it's glorious. I'm not going to hype on that too much, but we're at 3.14 yards per carry in this matchup, 69 yards on 22 carries. The Rams got the job done. He is getting a lot of workload, though. He's getting a lot of snaps. He's getting a lot of touches. That is great for fantasy football for the now. Just be mindful of that in the future, and you may want to have Blake Corn stashed if you have him as a backup on your team, as a handcuff, because that work rate is a dangerous amount of work for any running back in the National Football League, and that's a huge trend. He could be our Iron Man. He could be our Cal Ripken Jr. Not saying he is going to break down, but the odds of just more collisions happening in any given game is enough to make you want to look at your starting running back and say, hey, I got to have that insurance policy. Chase Brown's been going off. He's been looking good. He's the explosive running back in this backfield. This is what this team needed. He's getting touches. He's getting the work. We saw this back at Illinois. He was grinding it out then against top-tier competition. 120 yards in this matchup. We got a little bit of work in the passing game. We're solid. And this is going to be one of the surprise running backs right now that people aren't really thinking about, but he's being very productive in the box score. Chase Brown's getting the ball all over the place, up the gut, in space, on the outside, catching the ball in the backfield. So you never know where he's going to be at. Chase Brown's been hot. Tony Pollard came into this game questionable, missing a lot of practices, came into this game on fire. Once you saw Tony Pollard was in and was supposed to be the starter, that means Chestnut has to be out, and you would rather roll with Joey Chestnut in that case. Tony Pollard in, Chestnut definitely out, because you'd rather just start some other backup running back in a better game script here. 128 yards, explosive. One of the better running backs in the National Football League, has been consistent throughout the whole season in a very inconsistent offense, and he's been looking good. He's been looking solid. Tony Pollard, you got to give him his props. Josh Jacobs volumed into 95 yards, caught 2 balls, 13 yards, got you a little bit of fantasy production in the rain, kept it moving. He was okay. We're getting runs up the gut, a little bit upside. We're grinding it out, though. We were able to pop one run for almost 40 yards. David Montgomery, you're starting both Lions running backs. You're just doing it, and you're just hoping for the best. David Montgomery was all right against the Packers. Gibbs got the touchdown. Monty got you 73 yards. And again, he's getting volume. He's getting opportunities. It's up the gut. If one hits, he hits. If you cross the goal line, he hits. But with this volume, he was okay. Tyrone Tracy, 7.9 fantasy points, but we got 16 carries. Remember, this is the New York Giants. Remember, some of these game scripts ain't going to go their way, especially for Tyrone Tracy, especially when they're playing from behind, especially when they're trying to play catch-up here against a team like the Washington Commanders, and they're not using him enough in the passing game, although he's very good in the passing game. But why should you when you just toss it to Malik Neighbors 20,000 times in a game? Tyrone Tracy, though, getting runs up the gut, has the explosiveness to pop one off on any given play. Upside's there. Work rate is there. Nick Chubb's getting the work, not efficient with the ball. I'm going to go back and look at all his carries from the last 3 weeks, see how that's looking like. But again, we're still getting volume. The offense is very volatile with Jameis Winston. The quarterback changes. They've been volatile the whole season. Nick Chubb's getting work. He's getting carries. If you need carries, he's fine to have. He's fine to use because he is getting double-digit carries every single week. They're still going back to him. They're also going on bye. So they're going to be able to rehash some things, and we might come out strong. Nick Chubb is okay if you need double-digit carries a game. Outside of that, production, you want to wait and see. But if you need double-digit carries, there you go. Chuba Hubbard gets it done again and has been consistent in the box score, playing on a very inconsistent Panthers team, and it's something you want to rally around. Chuba Hubbard's going to stay, and it's going to be him and Brooks next year, and that's going to be a fun combo if this team does not jack it up. But we're explosive. We're scoring touchdowns. We are a bright spot here for the Panthers. Devin Achane. We're explosive. We're getting touchdowns. The thing about the Dolphins is things are starting to fire back up. Tua's back. We're ramping up. Things are starting to fire back up. That's what we're seeing here. And we're seeing these running backs and these wide receivers start to score more in the box score. Alvin Kamara, just look at this. Just look at this. Same damn thing in the passing game. We got 9 targets. Just look at that. It's sprayed around like it's with a machine gun. That's how many runs we got. Alvin Kamara is going to have to be that dude for the team because we got Chris Olave hurt. The rest of the running backs are hurt. It's pretty much him and Taysom Hill right now. So you're going to see him get all this work. If he runs down, then I hope the Saints have a backup plan. They have a plan B. But Alvin Kamara, if he can hold up, he looks like he's going to be a huge league winner for the rest of the season because he gets so much work in the passing game. It's hard to stop him for fantasy. You might stop him in real football, but you ain't going to stop him in fantasy catching 6 balls for 13 yards and then on top of that running for 40 in a random game. You're not going to stop that. But Alvin Kamara with this work, it's fun to watch. I don't know if that can hold up like that, but it's fun to watch. But those are the trends from week 9. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.